From Las Vegas. Her name is Michelle Mittmeyer. She is a veteran. She's going to share a little bit about her personal life and how her service to the country. And I just want to say, Michelle, thank you so much for the service that you've given to this country to keep us a free nation. And what we're talking about here today with Mary Martinez is we are launching To Our Legacy, which is a program designed to help the families of veterans and their generations to come by getting information and knowledge out there to the family members and that don't really even understand some of the stuff that's going on from the exposure of Agent Orange and the ripple effect that has happened with some of the health issues that they don't even realize. So that's Miriam's mission, is to get that information out there and help get more research done and get resources, to the families so that they know where to go, what questions to ask, and things like that. And Michelle today here is going to talk a little bit about the real estate because, a lot of our vets are losing their homes and the wives are losing the homes because they didn't know certain things needed to be in place. So she's going to kind of give us some information about that. And we're just going to make this a fun conversation. So, Michelle, I want to welcome you to the stage here and just share a little bit with the audience about your veteran background, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Beverly. It's a privilege and honor. I appreciate you having me. And I'll get right into it. My name is Michelle Mittmiller. I did 6 years in the Navy. I was fortunate enough to be stationed in Scotland and in Sicily, and that's Sigonella, Sicily, and Thurso, Scotland. And it was when they first started putting women on a ship, and I went overseas and it considered as sea duty, so that I never saw a ship. I was married for 20 years, and unfortunately, the Lord took my husband very early. He was 43 years old, and but I was blessed with 2 children, and I have 5 grandchildren now. And I've been in Vegas for over 30 years. I've been doing residential real estate now for almost 14 years. And that is enough about me. And let's get started and see how we can help you.
Well, let's put that in gear, right? And see where it can take us. So let's talk a little bit about this real estate. You've been in it for a long time, and real estate around the country is like out of control. And I know here in Vegas, the prices on real estate and the rents, so talk a little bit about that and how that impacts, it's going to impact everyone, but we want to focus today on how it really impacts the veterans differently than maybe just other people and how that happens and what you do about it. Just kind of give us a rundown on that. Could you do that for us, Michelle?
Yes, absolutely. I took some notes here, so if you see me looking down, I'm just glancing here at my notes. Our market is different than anybody else's across the country. We have gaming, and just Vegas has always been different. Rent control is a problem. It's never worked across the country, so rent control here should not work. And it's up in the legislation right now, so it is a big concern because it would not be beneficial to the homeowners that live here because it would stop the growth of Nevada. Now, if you own a home and you're in the process of possibly losing it or something like that, there's a lot of programs out there. And not only are there programs out there, but the assumable loan has come back. So anybody that can qualify can assume a VA loan, and they don't have to be a veteran to assume it. There are some other guidelines, but as a veteran, you can assume a VA loan. So there are a lot of options out there. I would like to being there's so many different what ifs, if you would like a one-on-one with me, I would love to sit down and talk with you, and we can talk, and I can bring you any information that might help you get through or help you navigate through what you're going through. I took some other notes here that you might not know, but there is no age limit. They can't discriminate against age. So a VA loan, I personally did a VA loan for 30 years with a 82-year-old gentleman, and his daughter lived there with him, and she would be able to take the house when he passes. So that was a lot of fun. Because when he signed the paperwork, he's like, 30 years, I'm 80. And he's looking at the year that it expires, and he's like, I'm not going to be here, so it was, it was really nice. As for VA spouses, you can qualify for a VA loan, and there's some restrictions. If the veteran dies while in service or service-connected disabilities, and you don't remarry, you can use the veteran's VA loan. So
I want to ask you a little bit about some of the things that you just shared here. The assumable. Does that mean that if a veteran's wife isn't on, or even is on the lease, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, on the deed, I should say, not the lease, that they have the ability to assume that property? Or the children can assume the property? How does that work?
Well, if the veteran wants to sell the house, somebody can assume the loan. Okay. If the veteran.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Now, there are some, you can, like, I'm a veteran, and if I wanted to sell my house, I could sell it to a veteran, and they could assume my loan because it's a VA loan. But I could also sell it to a non-veteran, and they could assume my loan. However, if I do that, I would lose my certificate and eligibility to purchase another home. So there are restrictions. So if you are getting into that realm or want to sell your house and somebody said you can assume it, there's a lot of restrictions that you want to make sure that you understand what actually the paper says from the VA, so we can follow it exactly and not let you lose your benefit.
Oh, now that is something that people really need to understand. So as a family member of a vet, are we eligible? I come from a long line of, my dad, my grandparents, and been very active in the service oriented, realm. So as a child of a veteran, are there benefits for us to be able to get VA loans and stuff, or is it just for the spouses? And
from what I read, it was the spouses. That's something I wouldn't want to answer specifically, because I would need to do some more research. But what I read, it would stop with the spouse. Okay. I do know that you have what is it, USAA, and as a service member, any sort of whatever part of the tree you can do, you can talk to them, and they do everything. They do home loans, they do house, they do car, they do everything. So that could be somewhere you could go and look into joining.
Oh, okay.
As a sibling of a veteran. That's all you have to do, is just let them know where their service connection is, and they let you join USAA.
USAA. Everybody, write that down. USAA.
Here, just a second. Let me get you that.
Well, we can put that all in the show notes too, because we're going to put all your contact information and everything in the show notes, so that when people need to reach out, so when the show is over, they'll have all that, in the replays and in the show notes and stuff, to be able to reach out to you, for resources. And that's, again, what we're looking to do here, is to get that information out, and the information that you've shared so far, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that I am learning, you know, interviewing, you know, all of the wonderful guests that we've had so far here, you know, during the show. The information is priceless. And this is what we're looking to do. This is Miriam's mission, is to bring a collaboration of people together like yourself to really say, hey, this is my lane of expertise. This is where I can help, or at least put you in the direction of. And that's critical when it comes to, you know, not only vets, but you know, everyone out there. There's so much. And I know in the real estate industry, I've had a lot of friends that are in real estate, and it's like every time you turn around, something different is happening. And it doesn't matter where in the country you are. It's like, well, it's different here and it's different there. And just when you think you know where you want to buy that place, all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I just talked to you a month ago and now you're telling me that this is no longer true and I got to do what? So I'm sure
That
you,
sums it up very well, Beverly. Very, very well.
oh my gosh. Okay. I was looking at some of your notes here and talking about the VA funding and fees that get
Oh,
waived.
okay. The
Can you go
VA
into that?
funding fee.
Yeah.
What that is, have you heard of mortgage insurance?
Yes, I have.
That's a VA mortgage insurance, basically.
Is that a good thing or not so good thing?
Well, basically, the funding fee is you basically pay the fee up front. But if you're disabled, you get that waived and don't pay a penny. So it's a wonderful thing, because I'm sure a lot of these people, if they're from the Vietnam War, they have some sort of disability, so they would never pay a funding fee. But what that's for is that's basically for the mortgage insurance, because the VA loan, you put zero down.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
so
So
there's
you get zero on the insurance, you get zero down. That's starting to sound pretty good, right?
oh, a VA loan, that's the beauty of it. It's zero down. And that's why, you know, the 82-year-old that bought the house for 30 years put zero money down
And then it can
and
just
bought the
move
house.
right into his children. And that's amazing to be
It's a
able,
blessing. Yes.
it, you know, it is. And people that don't realize that, you know, when their parents are up in that bracket and still have that ability, still have that power, shall we
That
say, because that,
certificate, it's a
yeah.
certificate of eligibility, and it's very easily obtained. I should have thought about it. There is a website that you can go directly to get your eligibility, or when you speak to a lender, they access it very easily too.
Yeah, and that's something we can get to and get it in the show notes, because the show notes will always be there. And so you can make a note of that and we'll grab that after the show's over.
Okay.
Because that is something that's really beneficial, you know, to understand and know that. And I like it when there's no age limit, so that, you know, you still have that eligibility. Like you said, you had an 82-year-old guy and he's like, whoa, look what I left for my kids, right? This is something that's really beneficial. And again, it's that knowledge and information that we want to get out there so the families have that opportunity, especially the wives, because I know there's, like you said, a lot of injuries have come out of Vietnam with Agent Orange exposure. And again, knowing that, and that's one of the things Miriam is capitalizing on, is what are those injuries? How do you ask about those? Because a lot of the symptoms and everything that are being given could be related to a whole lot of things. But when you know your background, when you know it was, you know, the service connection that you have with your father or with your grandfather, or, you know, because now we're into 2 and 3 generations, and I think even fourth generation, where some ailments are showing up. And how many of the vets came back and with the PTSD and, you know, all of the confusion, everything that's going on and their illnesses, and they left the family because they didn't know what to do, you know, and the separations. So you, as a wife of that vet, and all of a sudden your children are getting sick and you don't know why, or your grandchildren are getting sick and you don't know why, and you don't think about relating it to Agent Orange. And this is the awareness and the book that Miriam wrote on Agent Orange, the broken DNA, and how it's playing a role in these kids' lives. So anyone out there that's listening, if you are a generation, shall we say, from that Vietnam era, whether you know your father or not, to find and search some answers if you are now having issues with kids or grandchildren. So it's just the awareness, and that's what this whole day is all about, because it is National Vietnam Veterans Day, which is awesome, because it's
Right.
time they got recognized and acknowledged for what it was and what it is. And they definitely, they were not treated very well when they come home, and I never understood that. I had 3 brothers that were in during the wartime. I had 4 brothers, and every one of them had been in the service, and one was too young for Vietnam, but 3 of them were there. So when you look at that, there's a lot. I mean, there's millions out there, and it's not just the U.S. vets; it's all the other countries that fought, including Vietnam. There were a lot of innocent lives that are still being impacted in the country itself. And again, we're all one, and we need to start coming together as a unit to start working together to repair, or at least have a better quality of life if we know what we're fighting. And that is a mainstay of what Miriam's issue is all about, or I shouldn't say issue, mission is all about, so that she can get that awareness and that knowledge, the resources out there, start getting research done, and bringing in people like yourself and the other guests that have been on the show, sharing your lane of expertise and how you work directly with the veterans in all parts of the country. And I have
Absolutely.
to say,
if they
kudos.
want to move, or they need to move, or they need anything, I have realtor connections all over the country. I'm going to really intercept real quick. This morning I read an article. There's a 79-year-old Vietnam vet who graduated 60 years after leaving school. He never graduated high school, and he graduated high school. So I just thought that was a pretty, it says, Irvin Harsock, 79, Johnson, Ohio, left high school in 1961 to take a job in the local steel plant, where he worked there a year before he was laid off. The next move, he joined the U.S. Army. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out. That's a little bit of,
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean,
and then one more fun thing that I found.
I like fun things.
That during the Vietnam War, there was hardly any females. Out of 58,220 soldiers, there were only 8 women.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just got chills. That's like, whoa, are you kidding me?
No, I thought that was a real fun fact.
Wow.
And I would like, just put it out there, I would like to be the source of your source. If you have any needs, like if your air conditioner breaks, if you need a landscaper, just if there's your roofer, if you need anything that pertains to anything, if I don't know, I'll see if I can find somebody for you. But this is a very transient city, and you get taken advantage of. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. And being older or being younger, it doesn't really matter. The con artists are good con artists, and they take a lot of money from this state. And I would not want anybody to be a victim. So if you have any questions, please, I will be happy to get you somebody with references. And don't ever, ever, ever give anybody 100% of the job when they come to estimate your house and they come to do it. Do not give them 100%. typically give them a quarter and a quarter and a quarter and a quarter, but if necessary, give them half if they need to get supplies. But be very, very cautious. If you want to call me, I will help you, tell you what websites to go to make sure that they're legit. Just, I don't want to panic you, but I don't want you to get taken advantage of either.
Well, that's taken caution. And thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing that, because it is so true. This is such a transit community, and people do come in, they take advantage. And of course, who are they going to go after? You know? And so we want to believe and we want to trust. And so thank you for going that extra mile. And that shows the integrity in which you work.
Thank you.
And coming from the heart. And that's what this mission is all about. And we are so honored to have you as a guest. And thank you so much for sharing all this wonderful morsels of information, because this is going to make a difference in the lives of the vets and their family. And like I said earlier, all of Michelle's information is going to be in the show notes. So reach out to her and let her guide you in the direction that you need to go. So any final words, Michelle?
Just God bless you, and know you're never alone.
Well, there you heard it. You're never alone. And Miriam likes to say to all the Vietnam vets, welcome home. And Michelle is the epitome of welcome you all home, because she treats you as an equal. Thank you, Michelle. And now we are going to take a short commercial.
Hello folks, this is Mac Jackson Jr. from Vanderson Cyber Group. The problem with businesses today is that they are affected by cyber attacks from around the world, but companies are not sure of what to do. Normally, they are reactive instead of proactive. But folks, cyber attacks can affect your bottom line, and it will affect you financially, legally, and your business reputation. Here at Vanderson Cyber Group, we can help you develop a policy by training your employees on what to do if they are involved in a cyber attack, and how to mitigate it and fight against it. Folks, we call it here #StayCyberWoke. And that's Vanderson Cyber Group here in Las Vegas and around the world. You can reach me, folks, at VandersonCyberGroup.com or my website, MacJacksonJr.com as well. Here locally, 702-868-0808. Give us a call today, folks. We must fight back.
Tip.
Oh, Deborah Sweeney from Las Vegas. She is our next guest, and she has one of the most beautiful stories to share with all of you lovely people out there. And you know what? She may not be a vet, but she couldn't be any closer to the vets' hearts than when you hear what she has to share and what she is doing with vets from wherever they come. And, you know, I'm honored to be able to know this woman and discover what she has done. And now you're probably saying, well, what is it? Come on, what is it? Well, first off, I want to say thank you to Miriam Martinez and to John Stiles for actually running this show. Yes. And Miriam's mission is to launch To Our Legacy and welcome home all the Vietnam vets on this day that they've set aside for National Vietnam Veterans Day. And Miriam's mission is to really get the information, knowledge, awareness out to the masses, and to allow the families of vets to understand that the exposure to Agent Orange is a real thing. And is it causing an issue with their generations? If you have had a vet in your family that was a Vietnam vet exposed to Agent Orange, you know, in any of the wars, you need to know this. You need to understand it. You need to start reaching out. Pay attention. What is going on with your children and the generation and generations, right? Her awareness is to get that information out and also to get research done, to get resources available, to know that you do have rights coming from a vet who has served this country. And I want to say kudos again off to every one of you who served, whether it was in the Vietnam War or anywhere, right? And we also are honoring Vietnam themselves because there's been a lot of victims during that era. And it wasn't all by choice. None of it was by choice. So that is what we're all about here today. And this lovely lady here, Miss Deborah Sweeney, is going to share with you what she is looking for to help the veterans. And it's all about having good food.
It is about having good food. We are creating hydroponic systems that will be in local areas, starting in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very familiar to one of your family members. And our goal is to actually create systems that veterans can own. And the tagline is very simple: just add water, because we're going to do it from A to Z, from soup to nuts, and actually provide the system. All they have to do is provide the building, and we're going to buy the fresh produce, the fresh leafy greens, the herbs, everything that the veterans are going to grow. We're going to buy it, and we're going to do the marketing and sales for them. So
How about
we
that?
want to provide wonderful, wonderful opportunities for veterans to be able to kind of work from home, get in, be able to produce some fresh veggies, and actually help their community and still serve.
You know, that's what I found so unique about this. When you shared that with me, I'm thinking, are you serious? Actually, now think about this. If you're living out in some remote area, I mean, even in the city of Chicago, you don't always get fresh vegetables. They have to get shipped from California,
Right.
Mexico.
Right.
You don't know how they were raised. You don't know what was sprayed on them. No,
Correct.
you know, just saying, right? You know, so how would you like to be able to go to your local grocery store and get fresh grown vegetables in the city that you live in, just up the street somewhere, helping the veterans and their family? And that's giving them something to do. And you mentioned, you know, the Tulsa area. Now, I grew up on a farm in Iowa a long time ago. You know, and so when she shared that with me, I love growing my own vegetables. I love, you know, growing my own herbs and stuff like that. So, and coming from a family of 11, and we're all have that bug in us, so we're all growing our own gardens regardless of where they are.
Right.
And so my brother, who also served in Vietnam, is in that same area.
That's so cool.
And, you know, he knows a lot of vets. So
Yes, and we have 4 veterans already that have said that they want to be part of it that are in this area. But we're going to obviously do a research and development model so we
Yeah.
can test it, we can test the market. But we're really excited about offering this to veterans because we think it will do a lot of things. You're
Oh,
right. It's going
yes.
to provide communities with fresh, growing, organic, nutritious,
smell 'em
wonderful food, produce, right?
Yeah.
It's going to really help every community that we're able to touch. And instead of, you know, when Henry Ford started, he took all of these automobiles and took it to a central location. We're doing just the opposite. We're actually going out and going to individual communities, and with the help of the veterans in those communities, we're going to be able to provide fresh farm-to-table food.
You know, when you said hydroponics, that's dear to my heart. I mean, we're looking at the ecosystem, and we're looking at, you know, water. Water is probably one of the most precious minerals, precious liquid on the planet, because you know what? We have to have water to live, and we have to have oxygen to live, right?
We can't live without water, absolutely.
So
There's a water crisis in this country.
Yes,
too.
there is. And a
There
lot of
is,
people don't
yeah.
realize that. So when you're saying the hydroponics, I know what you're doing is a little bit more intense than the hydroponic,
Yes.
where it's like all you do is add the water. So they've got this down to an art. This is so cool. Now, you correct me if I'm mistaken here, but what you said was that you know exactly how much water it takes
Recipe
to grow.
for growth.
To,
Yes.
Recipe for growth. So imagine that. Every drop of water that goes into this garden to grow these vegetables is utilized by the plant itself, not running off into the waste or anything like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it can't get much better than that.
Not one extra drop. And it's not typical hydroponics. It doesn't sit in the water. We actually mist it. Our name is going to be Blue Mist Microfarms, and we actually mist it so we don't have to use any excess water. And the other thing is, even though these are grown under lights, it's going to be powered by solar.
Oh, well, there we go.
So
there you got it. You know, you got the solar. You've got the building. We didn't even talk about that. The
Right.
building is going to be out of material that's actually going to be beneficial to be more efficient,
Right.
you know, as well, right?
Right.
So now you got efficiency in the building, in using solar with the electricity stuff, and you've got not a waste of water, and you probably don't even use nasty chemicals.
None.
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 None. Did you hear that? None. Let's do that again. None. Can you tell we're an advocate of that?
Yes.
You know, because we want healthy bodies,
We do.
healthy air, healthy life, healthy lifestyle, and make a difference in humanity.
Make a difference and also be able to create a sustainable income for
Yes.
veterans should they choose to do this.
Right,
That's
and
really
something
gonna
they can
make a
pass
huge-
on through generations, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, and what better assistance can it be, you know, to a veteran to give them a purpose in life that's going to change and leave a legacy?
Yes, absolutely.
And what are we launching? To
Legacy.
our legacy,
Yes.
right? Because that's what it's all about. You know, we all kind of want to leave our legacy, leave our mark on the world. And don't forget, we are still looking for stories. Everything that we've talked about, all of the wonderful, wonderful guests that have spoken here today, all of their information, their contact information and everything is going to be available in the show notes. Thanks to John.
Yay.
Right?
Thank you, John.
So make sure you check out the show notes. Share what you've heard. And if you like what you've heard, start, you know, talking here. Start liking and giving us some words of wisdom and kudos and all that good stuff, because you know what? That's what keeps us going, right?
Right, and I'm excited to connect with veterans. I really am. My brother was a veteran. He was my first, right? My brother served in Vietnam War, and I gave birth to a couple.
There you
and
go.
they married a couple.
Well, there
so
you
we
go.
just have a whole family that's reproducing.
You know, and that's wonderful. And we want the reproduction to keep on going in a safe, healthy environment.
Yes.
Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you know, that's what the whole world is all about, and change humanity, right?
Yes, and thank you so much for this opportunity. This
Oh,
is
you know,
really
it's been an
incredible.
honor. It's been an honor having you here and sharing what you're doing, because that is what's going to leave an impact on all of humanity.
I really do believe it will, and I do believe eating healthier and healthier will just not only extend our life, but make life joyous while we're living it.
There you go. You just heard it. So thank you again. And this is, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So we have one more guest following this, and we should be good to go. And I want to thank every one of you who have came and joined us tonight. Go out there, be safe, be fun, and eat healthy.
And thank you all for your service. We appreciate it so much.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And that concludes this, and we'll be on to the next guest.
John Stiles here, host of Doing It with Stiles here on WWDB-TV. If you're a CBD oil user and a coffee drinker, I got some great news for you. I found this hemp-infused coffee from Planet Harvest Health. That's planetharvesthealth.com. Now, this happens to be the Swiss chocolate almond, which I'm kind of fond of. I used to take the CBD oil, put a couple drops under my tongue, and I didn't really like the taste of it that great. So I started dropping it in my coffee in the morning. So figured that would kind of kill it. Well, it kind of screws up the taste of the coffee. When I found this, it's awesome. It's great tasting coffee. You brew it just like your regular coffee, and you get all the benefits of the hemp. So check it out on planetharvesthealth.com. They got a lot of other great products. They've got spices, they've got oils, they've got creams. So check them out on planetharvesthealth.com. Thank you. And remember, like Planet Harvest Health, if you're going to do it with Stiles.
All right, welcome back. How'd you like those last speakers? Weren't they like awesome?
Wow.
I know, so powerful. And
Wow.
we are so honored that our guests are joining us here today because they are a part of that awareness and everything else. One thing I would like to touch on that most people don't even think about. There are a lot of victims of wars, not only Vietnam, but all wars. Look at the country of Vietnam itself and everything that transpired over there. I mean, their whole country was about destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, when you
Unfortunately.
look at all the nature, look what it did with nature. But look about the families, the innocent people there. And you know what? They don't even know why we were there. You know, I grew up in that era, so I could probably get on a rant, but I'm not going to go there. You know, so let's not only honor our Vietnam vets over here and their families, let's also reach out and recognize the country that was almost destroyed.
By decision.
And yeah, and now they are working their way back just like we are. We're all one.
Yeah.
Let's bring the world together to make it a better place. Right?
Absolutely.
All right.
That's my heart right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about this project because it's not something that's just going to happen today and be done. So I know you're on a timeline.
Yes, I am.
So you've got a lot of little pieces and parts to this.
Yes.
So just like roughly, you know, just give a bullet as to what people can look forward to make this project continue and get bigger and bigger and better and better.
Well, I'm just going to go with the next couple of months here. Right now, we're looking for veterans, their spouses, the children, for their stories, to start building our community. We're looking for partnerships to take us right in the direction that we need to be for the technology. We're looking for companies to support us, business owners to support us in the community. That's basically our next 6 months, right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a big project.
It's huge, and it's not stopping there.
Exactly.
This is going to be generational.
Exactly.
We're going to get into the technology that's coming up, and you know, it's a win-win.
And technology changes every single day, right? And the research is changing. They have better equipment. They can look deeper into the blood and into the DNA and into the cell structures and all of that. And they can actually break down the toxic ingredients that played a role. So that's kind of what we have to look forward to. But we really do need your support.
And that's called hope.
Hope.
That's called
right.
hope for our generations. You know, I've followed the medical field and the technology out there very closely for many, many years. I'm not an expert by all means in anything except my own knowledge. And the technology and the research that they have for rare diseases, they can literally go into a person's DNA now and clip it and reconstruct it, which, you know, it might be a few more years, but I know our rare diseases nonprofits out there, they are looking at that for cures because this is running rampant.
Right, and Miriam has over 40 years of experience, and that's not a nice word to go through the heartache and the struggles that she went through, her and Frank, with her children, and now with her grandchildren, and it continues. And we know that there's a lot of you out there. You're not alone. You're not alone. That's one of the biggest things, that, you know, the message that we want to get out is no one out here is alone when it comes to this. You know, there's going to be a link for contact information, and you'll, excuse me, you'll receive a form to get your story out there. And there'll be certain things that we're looking for in those stories. And we are looking to have 30 stories from people just like yourself listening in today to share to the world and get this message out, get this awareness out by June 30th of 2023.
Get busy.
That's
Get busy.
right. So we really need you to find that link and share your story and make a difference, not only in the lives of your family members, but those around the world, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. I think the timeline, you know, I mean, we could go in for months because there's like 18 months I think she has, you know, burnt out here. But right now, we want to just focus on today, what needs to happen, right?
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
You know, we still have a little bit left here in the show. We got a couple more guests that we are going to share some things with, and then we'll be back.
Looking for a home in Las Vegas? Well, you're in luck. Hi, my name is Joe Waschuk. I'm a realtor with Century 21 Gavish Real Estate here in Las Vegas. And I'm here to let you know that buying a home as a veteran can be easier than you think. Here's what I could do for you. Assist you in finding a VA-approved lender. After you've been approved, I can set you up to find your dream home with an automated search, and I will make your appointments for you. To ensure you have a smooth closing on your home, I will help you from start to finish. Please contact me for a free consultation at 925-334-2419. Let's build your wealth one home at a time. I'm Joe, and I know.
And welcome back.
Welcome, everyone.
Oh, gosh, wasn't this exciting?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
It's been so fun.
It has been, and the stories and the information, and it's just, whoo, it's so enlightening. And so what we want to talk right now is because we got a big surprise. Tour Legacy is moving into technology, and that technology is called virtual reality. Now you're probably thinking, what is virtual reality? Well, it's the metaverse. And you know what? The metaverse is a huge platform of digital things. It encompasses everything, your computer, your phone, the internet, you know, all those wonderful things. We have a platform called Megaverse, and on that platform is To Our Legacy, which is going to be there for everyone who would like to come bring their families in, because it's with the click of a button,
Yes.
right? So it's with the click of a button.
You have to share the name,
And
what it means.
the To Our Legacy, you do that.
No, not that.
Oh, Megaverse?
Yes.
Oh.
I love this part.
Megaverse stands for the Great Positive. And that's what we're doing in that platform. It's family, it's friendly, all built on education and
Resources.
resources and business. And we do entertainment. So there's things in there for kids of all ages and adults of all ages, because you know we're all kids at heart, right?
Yes, absolutely. Every
So
chance I get.
Exactly. And in this virtual reality space, you're an avatar. So you can make yourself look like whatever you want. You can be taller and you can be shorter. You know, you can dress the way you want, but what we're doing, everything is hyper realistic here. So it is really like being there in the real world. And the reason why we're bringing this out and we're so excited about it is because now you can become an avatar. So let's just say, you know, maybe you got a few struggles and you're not able to move and be as vibrant as you once were. When you're in that avatar and you're in the virtual reality space, think about this. Here you are, grandma or grandpa, and it's like, you know, I just don't have the fire under my, you know what, like I did. And now I've got these little grandkids that are 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 and 10, right? And they want to, you know, get all that energy going. As an avatar, you can run up the mountain with them. You can ride a bike. You can fly in some of the planes we have up there. You can go jump in the ocean. There's so many fun things that you can have to share with your families. And so Miriam is creating To Our Legacy in that virtual reality space so families can come together, be able to see the stories, hear the stories, communicate and talk with each other, because, you know, we don't always live next door anymore. You know, what if you have a loved one that's no longer on their own and they're in assisted living?
Or
now you can be there with them.
Hospital.
Spinal cord hospital, exactly.
I've experienced that. And unfortunately, our spinal cord hospitals with the VA, they have the technology, but sometimes they can't get the families there. And that was sad. It was really sad for me to see that. And this will solve that problem.
It does. It does, because you can put it on a laptop.
Yeah.
You can put it on a tablet.
And
you
in
can
the spinal
open that
cord
up.
hospital, you know, they set up their patients with everything they need. And if they're not able to move, they have technology that will help them with a blink of an eye, a blow inside of a straw, whatever the case may be. But this is going to solve a huge problem.
Yeah. It's
with
just going to
anyone,
bring
not
these
just
families.
veterans.
No, it's going to bring everybody together. You know, so that's the nice thing about it.
Yeah.
And it's just click and you're there. We are in that age of digital. We are in the computer age, right?
Yeah, we
And so it doesn't matter what age that is, because there's someone there that's going to be able to run that screen to where now you are immersed in it. Because you're side by side, just like we're here, side by side.
And we are
right?
not avatars. You can be like this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, anyone can go in there any hour of the day, any country, any time zone, and be a part of that community and bring it to life and really be able to chat with fellow countrymen and service people.
Family members.
Exactly. So
Another great thing about this is that we're looking at creating a legacy for the families that have been affected by the DNA disruption. You know, medical challenges occur all the time. I know it does in my family, and sometimes, you know, being financially stable is the hardest thing in those situations where families need an extra income coming in. So this platform can solve that problem as well. So I'm just happy and blessed to see all this stuff coming together, and
and that's where the resource directory, you know, so that information is there for people to find, and it's like, oh my gosh, what note did I put it on? Where did it go? I can't find this, and you don't know what the names are, because sometimes when you're in the midst of that trauma, your thinking isn't where it needs to be. But
That
when
way
you
you
can
have
come to a source like that,
Oh,
click,
absolutely.
and you're there.
Secure source. You pop in everything you need for you, that uniquely you, is going to be right there.
Exactly.
What you are looking for, what you need in this. What research do you need? What assistance do you need? How can we support you?
Yeah, and it is a community in there, so the community is going to support the community, and there'll probably be like a questionnaire board or something where people can put something up. I need help with this, if anybody can help, and then they can send those answers back. So that's the community bringing that all together, and that's
absolutely.
Powerful.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that on a platform that is just click and you're there.
Yes.
So we're excited about the virtual reality space and how it can definitely impact the world
In a good way.
in a great way.
Awesome. I love it.
Well, you know what? We got one more commercial break, and then the show's over. So
Wow,
stay
really?
tuned. We'll be right back. Wow, the evening's over. Can you believe it? It's been an honor being here today, and I want to thank everyone who has joined us, whether you're in the listening part after the fact or if you were here with us today. And again, it's been an honor. Thank you, Miriam, for sharing this beautiful story. Thank you, Frank. And thank you, all Vietnam veterans, on this your day to actually be acknowledged, recognized, and honored. All I can say is thank you for serving this beautiful country. And thank you the world over.